Go to view. You can go on speaker view
Actually, I
or
really don't want to see me, so that's okay.
yeah.
So I got some merch in the back because I noticed the last time we did this. So I put the Circuline pillows, and I'll be drinking out of the Circuline.
I got a license plate.
Awesome.
Oh
Nice.
wow.
Very
Hey,
cool.
those pillows look great.
Are they wonderful? They're usually in the
Yeah,
studio, but I brought them for this. Yeah, they're great. They're great.
yeah.
Would you
Oh,
like a set?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I would actually.
Shelby?
I'll take a
I
sec.
think we're
Damn
live.
it. You're not supposed to
This
say yes.
this keeps saying preparing to live stream the meeting. So let me go back to restream. I did this twice last week to make sure that I was doing it correctly.
It's not coming up yet on my Facebook page. You said it would just pop up, and it's not yet.
Hang on, it's going now. It's because I see it starting to go over to YouTube.
Okay.
Do we have to have Facebook or YouTube on as well?
No, you don't, but we're checking it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this says encoder live view on
All right.
YouTube. So something's happening on
Oh,
YouTube.
okay.
Oh, it's on. We're
It
on.
said
Natalie, you
view.
check, honey, you keep checking us out. Oh, okay, so I'm on
I
the.
see Natalie.
I see us on YouTube. Natalie, are you watching us on Facebook?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so that means that we are all live. So let's go back to where you people are. What
It's
maybe
the
not even
YouTube
live
live because
stream.
it's still saying waiting for me.
Okay.
But there's a delay, right? Definitely.
Right, yeah.
So Natalie, you're seeing us on Facebook, and I'm seeing us right now on YouTube.
Okay. So we have a few people keep jumping on. Hi.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Ah,
Okay, so honey, you can do the call out, or anyone, or Dave or Shelby, if you guys are watching on Facebook. If you guys see people coming on, and like, just go ahead and give them a wave, shout out like, "Hey, Fred,
Yeah.
whoever's
James.
coming on."
Thanks, James and Michael and Nukin. Hi. Rejoice Charles. Hi. Hi, Lewis. Hi. Hi, Susan. Hi. I'm
All
seeing
right,
everybody.
It's
This is nice.
3 o'clock here in New York. It's 8 o'clock in England, where Dave and Shelby are.
Hi, Margaret.
hello.
And everyone, welcome to the Circuline Core Virtual Tour live stream #1. I was very inspired by Dave Bainbridge to upgrade my microphone. So now I'm using my new Aston Microphones Stealth mic, which I got from our friends at Aston Microphone from the NAMM convention.
We love them.
So I have a list of questions here, and Natalie's already had some questions come in. I'm also watching this on YouTube, keeping an eye on the chat.
Just trying to find the YouTube link, but I can't find it.
You know what? If you go to our YouTube channel,
there's two
what's
streams happening on the YouTube thing at the moment. There's the stream itself, but then the video that you posted earlier, which was like the waiting
Right,
room.
the test. Yes.
Yeah, that still says upcoming, and I think that's where the chat is.
And you know what? That's because I didn't know that when you schedule a future event, that when we go live with the restream, it just automatically pushes it out live and it doesn't sync those two together. But I wanted people to know the event was coming.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do some homework about that, about how
Sorry for the confusion, everybody. If anybody.
Yeah, this is the first time. Well, actually, this is season 3 for us doing these live stream Q&As. The last time was season 1 and 2 we did together in 2020, but we never did multi-streaming to multiple platforms all at one time. So this is the first time. We only did it where it went Zoom to Facebook. So this is the first time they're doing Zoom to Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter all at the same time, which is pretty cool.
So Nukin Thapa, hello Nukin Thapa, is requesting a Metallica song.
Okay. All right.
I don't quite know how to answer that, Nukin, but thanks for joining. Robert Barry is here. I see and hear y'all perfectly. Hi, Robert.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much. And here we are on Twitter. Probably can't see that with the phone with the light, but we're streaming live. So I have a whole list of things that of questions that I want to cover, and then as these other questions come in, I want to go over all these things too. So thank you everyone for joining us today. And the first thing I want to say is thank you so much to Prague Magazine for listing our song Tempest Horribilis with the prog track of the week this week. Dave and Shelby did fantastic work. The official video's out. We're getting a lot of great feedback on that. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to watch the behind the official video. That was a 70-minute call that we did that I whittled down to about 34 minutes with all the B-roll footage. That was a ton of fun. And we're going to ask if you please click on the links that we have in social media and vote for Circuline. You can. It was great to be nominated and listed, but it's very helpful for you to go and click on the link and go vote for us.
Can people vote more than once?
No, because somehow Prog Magazine has
Damn
tracked
it.
the
I
server.
wasted a whole
tried.
half an hour last night. Keep voting.
The thing, as sooner as the screen will pop
I
up
know
and
it
say,
said
Oh,
your
yeah.
vote has already been counted.
Yeah,
but
I know. Hate that.
you know, for those of you who don't know, Dave is in multiple bands, one being Life Signs, which is a fantastic modern progressive rock band. And Shelby's fantastic band, Kairos, just had their new album release
Mannequin.
2 weeks ago. And
Yep, very
you
good.
guys were nominated for a track of the week. Did you win? You got in the top 3 something. I know you placed.
Yeah, I think every single that two or three of the singles that we put out were placed as track of the week. No, I can't remember. It's all blended.
It's a blur.
It's been. I feel like it was
Ask
like
Pumpkin.
because
Pumpkin will know.
Yeah, as
Yeah,
pumpkin.
That's pumpkin. That's pumpkin.
Yeah.
Pumpkin would know better than me. All I remember is that we put out our first single back in the summer of last year. So it's this we're talking a while ago now, and that was that got an amazing response. That was on the prog like tracks of the week, and then it got voted at the top of the little voting thing, and yeah, so it's and then it happened again on one of our other singles. So there you go.
That's great.
Yeah.
So-
Well deserved.
We have
We
a
just-
bunch more people joining us.
Oh, you know what? Go ahead, Natalie. Give the people. a
Yeah, Tony Romero, Mary Sargent, Robert Schindler, good friend of the band, Brent Adams, hi, Megan Phillips, Ariana Edwards, Brian James Gillette, Preston Mitchell, whole bunch, Ronnie Matthews, woohoo, Ronnie Matthews, good friend of the band. That's it, but a bunch of people. I don't know if I got everybody. But anyway, how do they ask questions, honey? How do
Okay,
they type in questions?
I have
to
more
you?
questions. Oh, well, questions. They can type in questions in the feed and Facebook in the comment section, or if you're on YouTube, you can type it in the chat box.
Okay. Cool.
I'm looking at the chat, and I've got a big screen behind my laptop screen, so I have to keep leaning over to. Okay.
Everyone right now is no questions have come in. They're all just saying
Okay.
howdy.
Thank you. So one of the first things, I get questions still every week on a regular basis from people who either don't exactly understand what's happening with this virtual tour.
Well,
They don't understand all the,
Me
they don't
too.
understand when's the record coming out. So I just want to, and you know what? I'm probably going to do this every time until the record comes out. So we're going to take a trip down memory lane back to the olden days.
Nice cup, Nat.
So
Product
if
placement.
people remember in the olden days,
What's that? What do you got there, mister?
when people released records in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, if you recall what vinyl actually looks like when people bought a record and put it on a turntable. So we're using this as an example because in 1986, when Peter Gabriel's So album came out, they spent 14 months promoting that record because back then there was no internet. And what was interesting was that the only way that we ever found out about new music was when it was on the radio, on television, in a magazine, in a newspaper, on MTV as a video. So what they could do is they would release the record and they would release a single to radio with a video from MTV. And they would promote that for say 3 months. And then they would release another single off the record. And that's how people bought the records, because they would hear the singles on the radio or they'd be on television or on MTV. But fast forward to today and everything's flipped. So you cannot release an entire album and push it out to all the digital platforms and then release a single because it's already out there on all the platforms. So in today's world, the only way you can release a single is you have to release the singles before the whole entire album comes out. So for all the people who love to buy the whole record and they want to listen to the whole record, thank you so much. We love you. We like listening to music that way too. But what we're doing is we're releasing a single every 6 weeks. And our way of promoting the singles are to do this virtual tour. So the single comes out in week 1. Week 2, we have the gear behind the music, where you have Shelby and Dave, myself, Natalie, Darren. We're in the studio with our cell phones and we're having a good time and we're showing you like the gear that we played on the record. Then the next week, which is week 3, we release a lyric video, cinematics, got all the words on it, cool imagery. Week 4, we have the story behind the song, where we have Darren, myself, and Natalie in the studio talking about how we wrote the song. How do we come up with the lyrics? What do the words mean? Now, we're going to incorporate some of that part into some of these live streams with Dave and Shelby, because there's 57 events the whole year. And we had to start shooting these videos last summer before the record was even done. So we couldn't always get everybody together for this thing. So that's week 4. Week 5 is when the official video comes out. Now that would be like your performance video, MTV style video. We're all together performing the song. We're together, you're going to see us in the video. Week 6 is we have the behind the official video, which was super fun because we do these Zoom calls and we actually have B-roll that we shot of ourselves on location when we were making the official videos. So you'll see us talking about that day. And you also see all of the B-roll behind the scenes stuff. It was hot. It was cold. Our cars broke down. We had the makeup artist, all the cool, fun stuff. And that's always week 6. And at the end of week 6, we have these live stream calls so we can answer your questions just as if we were on the road or on tour or doing a VIP thing. Yes, Natalie.
Brent Adams has a question. Are we ready to answer questions?
You know what? Give me that question because I'm in the middle of this thing. But okay, what's your question?
Okay. I know most of the songs were started a while back. Have any songs been completely rewritten or totally inspired from the addition of Shelby and Dave?
Okay. We will answer that. I've got it, Shelby. The answer is yes, and we'll give you some detail on that in a minute.
Yes.
And so because we have to release the singles before the album comes out, there's 8 songs on the record. We're going to do an entire 6-week promotion for all 8 songs on the record, but you're going to have 6 singles that come out before the record comes out. And the album release date for all the people I keep referring to is September 20th. So for all the people who've pre-ordered already, thank you so much. We appreciate your pre-order. We've already pre-ordered over 3 times that we've ever pre-ordered in the past, which is fantastic. So thank you so much. And you will be receiving your autographed CD and your autographed poster around September 20th. And then there's still going to be 2 more rounds for the last 2 songs on the record that we didn't do before the album came out. So anybody want to have any comment around that? Dave, Shelby, Darren, because this is a whole thing, it's today's music world.
No, I think you covered it.
Yeah, I think you've nailed it.
Yeah, we can move on. Thank you. Okay. By the way, I have to say your new mic makes you sound delicious.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, it's really nice. So
it's really nice.
Oh, thank you. I was also inspired by, I saw Billy Joel on Howard Stern, and then I saw some other people on Howard Stern. And I went, wow, they just sound great with a really good mic.
You sound like an FM disc jockey.
My radio voice.
Yes, your radio voice. Yes.
Okay. So, you know what? Let's ask that question. Somebody came out and asked that question. Nellie, who asked that question?
Brent.
Who?
Brent Adams.
Oh, Brent Adams. You know what? Thank you, Brent Adams. He's a big fan. You know what, Brent? We really appreciate your engagement. Brent does a really great job of commenting across all platforms. And we really appreciate you being here because we couldn't be doing this without super cool and awesome and nice people like you helping to spread the word. So thank you, Brent. Darren, do you want to start answering that question or do you want me to start answering?
Yeah, I mean, they're right. We did write these songs, way back in 6-7 years ago. Pieces and bits and everything.
Pieces
18, 19, 20, 21, 22 is pretty much that 5-year period.
It has been a while. We went through a couple, renditions of the band. So by the time we got to recording it, that's when we started, Natalie and I started talking about getting Dave and Shelby in the band. So unfortunately for them and us, well, I shouldn't say unfortunately, but the songs are kind of written already. But because of Shelby and Dave, they were able to add quite a bit to the overall arrangements and stuff. And there was a couple instances where we got parts back from either one of them that kind of dictated how we were going to approach our parts and how we were going to do this, that, and the other. So in the end, I think having both of them involved, maybe, you know, a little bit later in the cycle of the recording really helped shape this record to what it is. And we appreciate you too. So thank you.
Yeah,
the track that springs to mind about, well, there was one track, I'm not sure of the title of it.
I think I know which one you're talking about, but go ahead.
it's temporal thing. Dave
Temporal
had
Thing,
very direct
yes.
input on the arrangement on temporal thing.
Was that the one with the acoustic guitar?
Yes, and that
Yeah,
was
you- and
brilliant,
yeah,
by the
It
way.
was your idea to do the break with the organ, yes, acoustic guitar
Yes,
break.
very
thing. It was
nice.
great.
Okay.
Yeah, because Andrew just said, suggested that it would be nice to start with acoustic guitar at the beginning of the song
Right.
for a minute or so. So there was just literally a gap before everything else started on the track.
Well,
so
that's the same one where kind of towards the end of the song we stopped and you know, you took over with the acoustic strumming part, which is, you know, something we've never done before. Thank you again.
Yeah.
So that was nice, very nice. Yeah.
So it was nice to come up with that, because I mean, one of the things I really love doing is playing 12-string acoustic. Can people see it? I suppose they can see on YouTube. I've got it.
And
I'll
we're
figure it out.
recording in the gallery view, so people can see all five of us. So if you want to pick up a guitar and play something, well, everybody will see it.
Yeah. I haven't, because this is the first time I've been back over in the UK since September, and all pretty well, apart from my bouzouki, all my acoustic instruments are over here. So literally where I'm sat at the moment is where I recorded all those acoustic parts.
Oh, great.
Except just facing that way with the microphone here and a like a shield around it, foam shield around it. But this room is actually brilliant for recording acoustic instruments in, because it's got a high ceiling. It used to be a barn, so we used to have cattle in it or something, and then it was converted into a dwelling. Not longer, probably about 6 years ago, just before I moved in. But yeah, it's got a wooden floor, and if I turn this around, there's actually it's just a stone, brick
Oh,
wall.
nice. Very
Cool.
It's actually, that used to be a doorway, and it's just been filled in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
But that does sound nice.
it does. There's just a nice, and it's not a harsh sound. It's just a nice presence around the acoustic instruments. So yeah, particularly for that acoustic guitar bit where I was using the 12-string, it benefited from this room, definitely.
I would say,
Beautiful.
Natalie, who asked that question about, was that Brent, right? Brent Adams
was
asked
Brent.
that question.
Yeah.
I would also say that Shelby and Dave's input on the record, even though we weren't in the room together writing songs, which would be ideal for us, when we would get tracks back, that would definitely dictate what we would play. Like, so maybe the structure of the song was probably the same. But when Shelby would send us bass tracks back, a lot of times Darren would be like, okay, well, I have to redo my drum part.
Thanks, Shelby.
Because no, he'd redo his drum part because
that was great.
because he'd want to play to what she was playing, or Dave would send us stuff back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I would certainly change what I was going to play on my keyboards, or Dave
Well,
and
some
Shelby.
of that was kind of intentional too, because at least in my recollection for this record, you kind of laid low. Andy laid low quite a bit on putting his, final parts down in lieu of getting other things in, because I think previously we'd never done that before. We pretty much wrote the songs, me and Andy, the music parts. He would write his keyboard parts, and then we would kind of fit the other parts kind of in between those. But this time I think you kind of put a basic track down, let everyone listen to it, and then, you can modify and do whatever you need afterwards. So, which is, I think,
Right. In the past, I would pretty much orchestrate everything. I would fill the space with keyboards and strings and synth and pads and make it very big. Just because of the people we had in the band at the time and how those guitar parts and bass parts were going to happen. And this time I specifically kept it pretty basic because I wanted to leave space for Shelby and Dave. And they did a
Shelby,
fantastic job.
anything? Shelby?
I think the thing I found really satisfying was anytime I wrote in a bass fill and then Dave would pick up on it and kind of do a bit of a response or even just double the bass fill. Like hearing that was like, ooh, this thing that I just threw in there is just like a, you know, just because I thought it sounded cool, it's become a bit of a hook. And I think
Yes.
a good example of that is Third Rail, because which is very much at the forefront of my mind at the moment, having been working on the video. And there's a little what has become a hook now thing that I do that Dave doubles, and it's now a feature, which that's very cool.
Yeah.
Is that the bit I doubled on a sitar guitar sound?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So I just thought it was. Yeah. I thought it was a really nice line, and it just needed featuring. So yeah,
that's cool.
yeah. I mean, that was nice working with you from that point of view, because you were coming up with nice melodic ideas.
Oh, thank you. I was very
It's
much
interesting. In the way we work when I work with John Poole in Life Signs, when he works on my stuff, it's quite often I've recorded all the guitar parts and then send him the tracks, and he does exactly the opposite. He'll double lines I've played. So I think I've kind of been slightly influenced by that to try and listen out for things. Yeah.
Cool.
Hmm.
So
you want more questions?
Because I have still go ahead. When we have fresh questions coming in, if they're live in the live stream, we'll take those first, and then all the ones that I have written down, we can come back to those. So
yeah. So Megan Phillips. Hello, Megan Phillips. Her first question is, how many albums have you guys released so far?
Circuline. So we have released 2 studio albums, and we have released 2 live CD, DVD, Blu-rays. And so this is our 5th product, and it's our 3rd studio album. And I just figured I've dragged the screen over here so I can see the chat. So hi, Megan Phillips. Okay, this is quite funny. Their name on YouTube is Fjord Fiesta.
Sweet.
I think I know who that is. They're a regular in the Kairos Discord server.
Oh, great.
Nice.
Here's
welcome. How lovely.
Megan Paul Armstrong. Cool. That's great.
That's a great name, man.
That is a great name.
Fjord Fiesta.
Were they influenced at all by Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and Ford Prefix?
Good question.
Okay, so another question we've gotten a lot, and they're all over comments, and they're all over messages, and they're in emails, and that's, are we going to play live again? And
wow,
the answer is yes. And the only thing I can say right now is that we have offers that are coming in, and realistically, we would be playing in the 4th quarter of this year and into 2025. We're not at liberty to discuss any further details than that right now, because it's a lot of words in the air and things. But you know, and because Dave's in more than one Life Signs is a successful band. Plus, he's got his thing with Sally and Dave, and he's got things. And Shelby leads her own band, Kairos. You know, we've got 3 schedules we've got to synchronize and coordinate. So there's a lot of I don't know what the hell that move was I just did. There's a lot of moving parts that have to be addressed. But the answer is yes. That is the plan, which is exciting for all of us.
Definitely. We did have that question earlier too about vocals.
Oh, let's address that now.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. We know that Shelby sings because she fronts her own band and sings lead. We know that Dave can sing because we watched him sing with Sally. We didn't even know Dave could sing. And then as soon as we saw him sing, we went, oh, Dave can sing too. So we'll say that in the future, you will likely be hearing them singing. But on this record, Natalie and I handled all of the vocals. Was there any more details for that?
No, and he phrased it. I believe his name was Jeffrey Hayes. It was on another thread, and we decided to save that question for now. But he likes. He mentioned Shelby's beautiful voice and asked if So that I thought that was really nice.
That is nice.
Yeah.
Thank
you. Yes, you're welcome. Do we have time to introduce Pumpkin?
Would you like to introduce Pumpkin?
Pumpkin's stealing the show right here. Like, just he's not doing anything other than just being incredibly sleepy right now.
Slacker.
Like, if I tilt it down, you can kind of see him a bit more. But
well,
yeah.
Pumpkin made an appearance in the Gear Behind the Music episode 1. So if you'd like to see that, make sure you guys check that video out. I'm going to be talking about those other videos only because it's quite fascinating with this release schedule to have some videos that have so many more views than other videos. That's all I can say. Some have some have more than others. So it's always interesting as to I'm just curious as to why people watch, or why, if they didn't watch, or maybe they didn't know, or if you're one of the 23,000 people on our email list, you get an email every week talking about all the cool new stuff that we're doing. So
it might be interesting to ask people a question as to what kind of videos they like watching best, whether it's the actual videos that for the song, specifically for the song, or the behind the scenes type ones. So maybe we could get some feedback from.
That's a good idea. So if
there's
you're
somebody,
on the
there's somebody who jumped on, not on this thread, but on another one, who said that he's been following. He just discovered us like in the last couple of months, and now follows everything on YouTube, and he's enjoyed all the chatty kinds of things, and stuff. So that was nice. We have to do a shout out to Michael Sadello, who's a really big friend of our band's, and I think Shelby, you would probably recognize him if you saw him. I think we introduced I think he might have been with us one night when we bumped into you on the street at Rozfest in Florida. Okay. But anyway, we got to give him a shout out.
Oh, Ron from Prognot is here. Ron Fuchs.
Oh,
nice.
Hey, Ron.
Ron.
Paul Armstrong can't stick around, Ron, but hey, Paul, how you doing? Please don't play If You're Dead live only.
What? What?
What?
Well, actually, my friend Carl Palmer, Carl Palmer's guitarist, my friend Paul Bilatovich, has been doing very well, doing tours with ELP being back again at the moment, with two of the deceased members on big videos
on the screen.
So it's not beyond the bounds of
this
possibility.
Is
possible.
This is true.
With the tech that's out there now, you can do all
just make sure video. Yeah.
So Shelby, just so you know, on YouTube, Wheels of Steel 963 wrote "Pumpkin is a legend."
Pumpkin is indeed a legend.
And then Ford Fiesta right after that wrote "Pumpkin is love, pumpkin is life."
The star right here. I shouldn't even be here.
Pumpkin.
Maybe you could do an album cover. We're all standing around, like pointing at Pumpkin.
Oh my God!
I'm foreseeing a Kairos video with Pumpkin in it right now.
That's a good idea.
So speaking of Kairos,
you could have a song called "Sowing the Pumpkin Seeds of Love."
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
Oh, that's fantastic!
Fantastic!
I just want to say publicly that I think the Brits have a better sense of humor than Americans.
I remember having a whole conversation about this at the diner when we were doing
yes,
Island.
Remember?
That was an interesting conversation because I was thinking about that more after our conversation, and I think it's just two different types of humor, like American humor versus British humor. I like both for different reasons.
Yeah.
Yes. I do too.
Good way to put it. Yes.
That's very political. Speaking of Kairos, I just want to say, I know you guys have a new album and you already have some live touring dates, don't you?
Yes, so April, we're going to be doing a string of dates across mainly the south of England. So I don't want to call it a UK tour because people will get angry at me if I say that. And then we're working on some additional dates for later in the year.
Okay. Dave, are you at liberty to disclose any Life Signs dates yet? I know you're playing on the cruise, right?
Yeah. So, well, I'm doing lots of other things.
You've got like 5 bands you're playing with. Right?
Yeah, later this week I'm rehearsing with Colin Blunstone and doing the On the Blue cruise with him in April. That's playing keyboards. Then there's On the Blue. No, Cruise to the Edge with Life Signs with Simon Phillips guesting with us on drums, which will be fun.
That was another question. Our friend Robert Schindler asked who is going on the Cruise to the Edge. Shelby, you're going, right? Yeah,
I am going.
And I said I knew Dave was going, but I wasn't sure you were going too. Cool.
Yep. And I will be doing some of the late night live performances as well. So catch me on keys, catch me on bass. I will be,
Very nice.
That is an experience.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, if you don't mind not sleeping, it's really fun.
I don't sleep anyway, so this works out.
We went on at like 4 o'clock in the morning or something, and it was bloody awful. But the vibe is those late night things are so wonderful. Everybody is just there doing what they love, and it's it's really just it is so low. It's just full of heart. It really is. It's just fantastic. Yes. I love that. So we have a second question from the lovely Megan Phillips, if I may.
Okay.
Her second question is, what will you release after Tempus Horribilis?
Well, that's coming this Friday.
Dun, dun, dun.
Single number 2 is called Third Rail. And the single will be out on Friday on all the streaming platforms. And
it's different.
It's more of a pop.
Little bit.
More like a crossover pop rock song.
Yeah.
That's all. I mean, I don't know if just how you would describe it, but this is in our attempt to to broaden our audience and cross over more from just only progressive rock into more of a mainstream audience. This song was specifically written 5 minutes.
There you go.
Meaning it's 5 minutes long. It wasn't written in 5 minutes.
It wasn't written in 5 minutes.
Write
Only
it
5 minutes.
Yeah, no. But fans of both Shelby and Dave
fans of Shelby and Dave
if it's not as proggy as you like, just listen to the solos and the bass lines. You'll be very happy. Shelby also did, I know we said this before, but it bears repeating, that she also did the video. So when you see the official video in 4 or 5 weeks, I think,
Shelby's producing that.
She did all of that. So it was great. It
was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah. It was a nice shoot in the train stations with all that. I mean, the beautiful breeze, and it was kind of great.
It was lovely.
And I'm sure we'll talk about this on the next live stream, but Dave shot some very cool footage in front of a cactus. Were you in Portugal or Spain? Where did you shoot that video footage?
South of Spain. Yeah, I couldn't make the video shoot, the original one that you did, because we were traveling back from somewhere. But so soon after that, Sharon and I were in Spain. My brother-in-law lives there. And we had a holiday at his house, which is a fantastic place. So it's got this massive cactus, which is about 30 feet high, outside in the front yard, and just seemed like a really nice place to film. So Sharon filmed me on her iPhone, playing along to the track, which wasn't finished at that point. I think the solo was there, but I can't remember whether I'd had much time to actually learn to mime it.
It looks great.
It looks really great, yeah.
And the way Shelby took your footage and put it center of those beautiful arches that were at the train station, Oh man, Shelby, we were like, oh,
Looks great.
that
I'm
is
looking forward to
so
people seeing
great.
it. You know, that was one of those happy accidents, because I remember bringing Dave's footage in and thinking, right, how can I have this blended in with all the other footage? And then I guess I took the word literally, I blended it in.
Yes.
And put it in the archway, which people will see when this will all make sense when it comes out. And it just kind of worked to frame Dave's video.
It's fantastic. It
Yeah.
was wonderful. Hey, can I also read a comment?
Yes.
Since it's very nice, I think I should go ahead and read it. By someone named Rob. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Quitter, might be Quider. But anyway, he says, I discovered Circuline about 6 months ago. Been a fan of Yes since 1970, and think you're one of the best prog bands I've ever heard.
Oh, wow.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Puffed up
Okay,
here.
that's
We'll
nice.
puffed up. Can't
Very
wait to hear more of the new album. Well, thank you,
Thank you.
Rob.
Thank you, Rob.
Very nice. And I also have now, there are a bunch of people jumping on. I'm sorry if I'm not mentioning your name because things are scrolling by quickly, but the lovely Megan Phillips has a third question. So may we?
Yeah,
May
because
we?
you know what? It's interesting. I'm seeing them over here in the chat. She must be doing a good job of typing the same question in YouTube and Facebook, but go ahead.
Yeah. Her third question is, what is the title of your current album?
Oh,
Oh,
Darren, you answer. Well, it's called Core,
core.
and we CORE, and we went, as many artists do. We went through a whole bunch of titles, and we couldn't figure out. Well, we had a title that was a working title for a long time, and one of the things that has been a theme, hopefully that theme is behind us now, but that was been a theme has just been different people, different band members. And it's not uncommon. I mean, Yes, if you go to the Yes website, they've had 20 members in their history. Many bands throughout the course of history have had different band members come and go. And it's just seemed that since the inception of this band, we've had many different members come and go. We're grateful for all their contributions. And this is the lineup that we have now. But the core of the band has always been myself and Darren and Natalie. And Natalie came up with the idea of, we are Circuline, we are original, we are reimagined now with Dave and Shelby, and we are evolving. And that's the acronym. That's what CORE stands for. Circuline, original, reimagined, and evolving. And our sound is really great with the addition of Dave and Shelby. And I think that this across the board is the most consistent sounding record that we've had. And so far the feedback's been really good. So does that answer that question? So that's how we came to that title. And I'm seeing over here on YouTube under there's more pumpkin comments coming in.
Yay! Pumpkin! Honorary
Hey.
member of the band.
Hey,
Yeah.
Paul Armstrong. Hey, Scott Blondin writes, I like videos shot on exotic locations, mountaintops, and green screens. Well, that pretty much covers everything. Writes, I like videos shot on exotic locations, mountaintops, What is and that? green screens.
What is that?
It's because you've opened up the YouTube
Writes,
video,
I
right?
like videos shot on exotic locations, mountaintops. Where's that coming from?
I don't know, but you might need to turn down your volume.
Like videos shot on exotic locations.
Shelby says
I don't know where
because
it's
you
coming
opened
from.
up YouTube, honey. I don't know, but you might need to turn down your volume.
Oh,
I don't know where it's coming from.
YouTube,
Hello?
honey.
Like, no, YouTube's not playing, and the volume there is turned up.
Hello?
I don't know where it's coming from.
Your phone?
It's not playing. Hang on, close. Okay, every app on my phone is closed. I don't know where it's coming from. Wow, it's like the delay. This is like a loop. We should put this in our song. Every app on my phone is closed. I don't know where it's coming from. Wow, this is very cool, but I don't know how that's
No, honey, stop it.
Every app on my phone is closed. Okay, I just closed Instagram, but I don't know how that's
No, honey, stop it.
I don't know how to stop. Okay, I just closed Instagram, but I don't know. Hey, wait, is it on one of your guys' end? Is it on your end? I don't know.
No.
Tell you what, I'm gonna mute my microphone and let's see if it stops. Oh, it stopped.
Okay.
Are we
There
there?
we go.
Yeah, can still hear you as well. Yeah.
Okay, whatever happened, I don't know what that was, but it's not happening now.
That
Okay.
was whack.
That was awesome.
Okay.
Loved it.
Okay, so all right, back to the chat.
My sister just texted. She said, "This is like listening to you guys at camp
Wait,
when we were
which
chatting and
sister?
overlapping."
She has two sisters. Which sister are you talking about?
Barbara, sorry, Barbie. Oh,
Okay. Anyway, I was just saying is that we're very grateful to have Dave and Shelby on our team now. And I think the album, the comments have been, for the people who heard the whole thing, is that consistently across the board, this is a very consistent album, and it sounds, and everybody likes how it sounds. Megan Phillips, where do you get your ideas for your music? Oh, wow. You know what? I'm going to ask Dave and Shelby to answer that question first. Where do you guys get your ideas when you're writing?
Oh,
ooh.
right. Yeah. Shelby?
That's a good question. I think it just kind of I think what I tend to do is the music that I listen to molds together in my brain and becomes this whole new thing built of all of these ideas that I've accumulated from all of the things that I've listened to. And then it just kind of comes out through all these inspirations, these sources of inspirations, if that's the right way to phrase that. And I think that definitely applies to my playing as well. Like when I was coming up with the bass parts, I did a lot of channeling inspiration. I was listening to a lot of Guy Pratt's bass playing at the time when I was doing the tracking for Circuline, and I felt that coming through. You know, the bass fills that I was doing, the little melodic bits where I'd slide up to the top of the neck and do something, and then slide back down and go back to the root. That's like absolutely a Guy Pratt move all the way. So
And for people who don't know who Guy Pratt is, what bands? Who?
Guy Pratt's worked with oh my goodness, he's worked with everyone from Pink Floyd through to Madonna, through to Michael Jackson, through to he was part of the Toy Matinee album as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
With Kevin Gilbert, and the bass lines on that album. Oh, yeah. I mean, his bass lines in general, big fan.
Nice.
Yeah, I tend to similarly. I think I think most musicians are kind of an amalgam of all the influences, and hopefully after a period of learning you come up with a sound that becomes unique to you. So yes, I think that's the same for me. But as far as writing stuff, I'll be inspired by all kinds of things, usually not musical, but maybe something I've read or paintings I've been looking at, that kind of thing. So quite often I'm seeing composition as a multi-discipline, kind of across different arts, that the inspiration comes together. And more for the album I'm working on at the moment and the previous one, I've got more involved in lyric writing as well, which has been quite interesting. Because in my previous main band, Iona, Joanne, the singer, she basically wrote most of the lyrics for that. But also I've got involved in artwork as well, because I'm a keen photographer and like to manipulate photographs and that. So it's all kind of part of the creative process. So when working on the Circuline tracks, it's like seeing like a track as a kind of painting, a collage, and filling in bits and different colours and things where one thinks it needs it, really. And there are certain bits where it felt like there was maybe early kind of progressive influences that would be nice to fit in, and other times where it felt like it should be something else. Or yeah, so yeah.
Well, that'll be interesting when we come to do things live. We'll have to work out, like, because there's some parts that I may have to be. I'm certain I'll be covering some guitar parts, like when we go to play live, because you can't play the rhythm parts and your leads at the same time.
No.
Right. So we'll have to figure out some kind of arrangement so that I can, one hand will be a guitar and one hand will be keyboards, or however that's going to work.
But also the question was, like, because you guys come up with all the music, how do you guys come up with those ideas too for like this album for core?
Well, this, what's interesting is that for the way that when Darren and I work together, a lot of times we come in the studio and he just starts playing a beat or a groove or something, and then I'll start hearing chords that I think will fit over that, and then we'll work stuff out. Sometimes I'll actually, several times on several records, I'll wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I'll hear music playing in my head. And now I know I get up and I leave the bedroom, so I'm not waking Natalie up. And I either grab a phone. I have a portable recorder. I sing into the recorder. I have sheet music, and I always have like a pencil and and I'll grab stuff and I'll write it down if I know what the notes are. Sometimes I just get a pen and a yellow pad of paper and I'm trying to scribble down what it is, or I'll sing in the recorder. Just if I have a dream about something, often you get ideas for these things. It's never when you're not never, but often when you're out in the studio, you're in your car driving, or you're in the shower, or I'm going for a run and I'm in the trees, it's whatever. Or sometimes a sound, like you'll get a new keyboard or a new synthesizer or a new plugin or something, and the sound itself and how it feels will dictate whatever, some new idea for something. So if I get a new piece of gear or a new piece of software, I always have it ready to go to record something, because I know as soon as I start playing something, that sound will always spark something, and I try to capture it right away, because you think, oh, I'll remember that, and then you're not going to remember it. It's that first initial kernel or that seed or that little bit, that nugget, that can be the piece for something else.
Interestingly, just before this call, I came up with an idea, because I've got this is original Korg Kronos first version. In America, I've got the second version, and the difference between the two, you can load in the same sounds, but when you load in from one to the other, some of the sound locations are different. So you have to kind of make notes and then put them in the right place, and it all works fine. But when you initially, so I just loaded in the set list for the Colin Blunstone songs I'm going to be doing later in the week, and one of the patches was just, the sounds are totally different. In different because they're in different memory locations. So instead of, like, I think it should have been piano and strings or something, the top half was like mellotron brass, and then there was like bass, synth, and organ, but it sounded fantastic. So I came up with an idea which I just recorded on my phone using that. So I'm going to save that memory location. It would make no sense in the song it was supposed to be in, but as a new idea, cool. It was quite inspiring. And it's a combination of sounds I probably wouldn't put together myself. So yeah.
You mentioned voice notes, and I was going to say how I can so heavily relate to the idea of the experience, the lived experience of just waking up in the middle of the night with an idea, or just being in the middle of, say you're in the shower or you're out and about doing your day, and an idea just comes to your brain, and you just get out the voice memo app, try your best to sing it into the app, and maybe also describe what that melody is supposed to be sitting on top of after you've sung it. My voice memo app is full of all these ideas, and I think nearly every Kairos thing that I've written has some form of idea noted down in the voice memo app, and has come about through those means. Like in Vantablack, one of the songs on the Selects of Dreams album, nearly every melody in that track, which is a 14-minute track, nearly everything in that started out as a voice memo.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a great app, that, on the iPhone. I use it loads.
Yeah.
Acoustic guitar ideas, or in fact, I used it to record some geese and bird song when I was on a few of my walks, which I incorporated into tracks on the last album.
That's cool. the field recordings.
Yes.
One of the things that have been conscious about doing is ever since starting, especially in 2018, when we knew that we wanted to be writing all of our own lyrics and melodies, is funnily enough, none of them wind up on this record. But I've been trying to just come up with ideas to write about for songs. For this record, most of the lyrical content came from Natalie, who I basically kind of kept yelling at her and scolding her into writing stuff because she's such a great writer. When she went back to school, she would write these papers, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, you're such a great! What are you? You should be writing lyrics." Especially since one of her favorite artists is Joni Mitchell. I'm like, you know, every Joni Mitchell song. You already write well. You've got a good vocabulary. You've got a great ear. Just start writing some stuff down. So it was interesting because she would just grab a pen. She'll get ideas for poetry. And I keep for scrap paper, I like to use, when you get a bill and they always have those extra envelopes, and I just hate wasting paper. I'm trying to recycle or just reuse something. So save the planet, save the trees. So I always keep, if a back of an envelope is blank, I always keep it. And I have little piles of scrap paper around. It kind of makes her crazy, but if you get an idea, yeah, see, that's
there
it
you
right
go.
there. There you go. So a lot of Natalie's poetry notes are literally scribbles on the back of all these little envelopes.
Yeah.
And then I have piles of them here. So then when we would go to write the song parts, we would for this record, we started with the songs because we knew it was going to be the hardest part for us because Darian and I could get in the studio and write music together. That's the easy part for us. So we started with the songs, and then all the bit proggy things we kind of crafted around that for the most part.
And they went through many incarnations because
there's like 30 for every song that you guys hear. It's gone through anywhere from like 18 to 30 variations from we started.
Variation. Yeah.
One thing I did do, because one of the things that Darren is really famous for is we come up with something and Darren's famous words are, can we add a beat or take out a beat?
Or a half a beat.
Can we take out a half a beat? Because the way he counts in his Darren head. Can we add half a beat or take out half a beat? Because he wants to make it proggy fusion, because Darren's the encyclopedia of prog and fusion. So sometimes, for the closer on the record, which is our 10-minute prog epic, in my head I was like, 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 1 2 3 4. I came up with some totally messed up rhythm. It was totally messed up, and then I figured out a way to play it between my two hands on the piano, and that's the rhythm. Do do it and do it do do it and do it do it and do it do do. And it's a record, and Darren was like, "What is this?" I'm like, "I wrote this for you, Mr. Drummer Percussion Guy who wants to add a beat." And it's in like 37/8. You can't divide it by an even number. And he didn't.
Well,
really
I just said, you're getting back at me for something. What did I do? I guess when you hear the song, people, you on this record, you'll understand what I did. That was my song, and I brought it into the band. And
the song You.
The song You.
The song titled You. Yeah.
His last piece that he was speaking of is in retribution to me about that song. That's what I believe.
Oh, you think I wrote Transmission Error?
Yes, I do. I think that's what you did.
I was trying to get back at you for the song You. Yes. Well, the song in You, Darren had a phase, and we all go through different listening phases and things that we like and we don't like. And Darren had a phase that he listened to, correct me if I'm wrong, that you listened to what band for 12 months a year, nothing else other than one record?
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Cool. Numa. It was a great record, and it really hit with me. And like what you guys are speaking about, how you're inspired. I went to the keyboard and I wrote, 6 or 7 songs on a keyboard with no keyboard sounds at all. So it was all drums, bass, and guitar, which is very different for me because I'm a piano player. That's what I got started with. So I decided to kind of not do that again. So I went to the keyboard and just started playing, weird time signatures, weird, kind of rhythmic things. And then I would put what's the guitar patch that we are in so love with? What is that?
Oh, shreddage.
Shreddage. Oh my gosh.
Shreddage.
So I got that and I go, holy moly, this was great. So I started writing all these different songs. So I brought the one into Circuline, and it is very Tool-esque, but because I think the way that we write songs and everything, we did kind of mold it into a Circuline song. So I think it does work, but I'm still not sure what the second verse time
Man, that
signatures
second
are.
verse time signature. Yeah, we don't know how we're going to play that live yet. But actually,
Oh, we will. We will
well,
play it.
what I did was we were like, the listeners got to have something to hang on to.
Well, that's right.
So I
We
came
had
up
to
with
change.
some and that was inspired by Evanescence. Amy Lee in Evanescence, she's heavy, but there's always these little piano riffs and hooks and licks. And I'm like, we got to give us something, an anchor or so for your ear to hear when we're going into something. So I came up with those parts on top.
Well, the other thing too, we had to rearrange the vocal parts on top of that
Oh, it was a disaster
second
on the
verse or something,
demos.
because there had to be, we have to give the listener a break. We can't throw all this stuff at them all the time. So there had to be something hitting one somewhere at some time.
Somewhere. Yeah.
So we did, kind of do that for you. So you're welcome.
Are you talking about You still?
The song
Yeah.
You.
Yeah. When you know what? I think that was Alex's suggestion. He said this has got to be like a rock in 4 chorus. Is that what I'm thinking
chorus,
of?
Yeah, the chorus we definitely had.
Yeah.
The
chorus is in 4.
Yeah, that's the payoff for sure.
Yeah.
But,
And that works. I don't have any more questions, just lots of other people watching. It's great from all over. It's fantastic.
Well, Brent Adams asked about our favorite way to start a song project, but I think we kind of answered that. We all kind of have these creative bits. We'll have over 100 bits. I'm sure Dave has all his bits. Shelby has all her bits. I'm the librarian here to organize all the bits. And then you just figure out how those bits are going to Frankenstein, how they're going to fit together and create a song. Okay.
For me, I find it easier if you've got either a title in mind. Quite often I'll start a piece just with an idea for a title, or you've got a subject to write about lyrically, and then it's easier to kind of figure out which of the vast amount of bits of instrumental sections you've got will work with the sentiment of the lyrics. I think that's
that's true.
Yeah.
So I think the way you're going about focusing on the song first is probably a good plan, and then it's easier to import bits of instrumental that kind of enhance the mood or the feeling of the lyrics.
Well, we talked about this in, what we have. There's the album pre-launch video that came out in September. And then for every song, we're doing the story behind the song things with the 3 of us that we had some professional video people record. And Darren's doing all the editing for those. I want to give a shout out to Darren because he's putting in all the time editing all that stuff. And so we talked about this somewhere in one of the other videos, and I don't remember where it was. But in the past, across the board with our reviews, the first studio album average were probably a 7 out of 10. And then across the board, pretty much the reviews for our second studio album were about an 8 out of 10. So one of the things we did when we sat down for this record, we said, okay, well, how do we get better? How do we get either better reviews? How do we make the songs better? How do we make the music better? How can we improve? And consistently, what people would say was that the musicianship was really great and the music was really great, but the songs didn't mean anything. Now, at the time, we were working with Randy McStein as a songwriter. So
who's
Randy,
a wonderful lyricist.
and which is Randy wrote all the lyrics, and he wrote the vocal lines. Some of his harmonies, he put some harmonies down. For the first record, he had more harmonies. He did some for the second record, but we pretty much stacked all the arrangements with some of the harmonies with myself and Natalie and Billy doing all the arrangements for that. And And at the time, we were just trying to get the music done, to get the records done. And we said, we don't care what it means. It's prog. It's prog. The songs don't have to mean anything. Yes, we've got an entire catalog that nobody knows, understands what John Anderson is
I
singing.
think one of the points, though, just sorry to interrupt, is that I think why this record works better, not to say that Randy didn't do a great job. He did a great job. Anybody that's a third party writing for another group, it's an extraordinary ask, and he did a wonderful job. I think what really helps this is that Natalie, who's the one who's singing this, and sometimes Andy, he's connecting to these words, and that's what really sells it. I mean, it's hard to kind of connect with lyrics that somebody else has wrote, that's coming from somewhere in them. So this time around, Natalie kind of took the bull by the horn and really kind of came through and did these lyrics, and they mean something to her, and you can tell. And same with Andy, when he does his vocals for some of the parts, you can tell you're connecting with that. And I think that really comes through on all these songs.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, yes, and you're exactly right. What we said was, okay, we know we can write music. And before we were Circuline, we were a progressive rock tribute band. I don't even know if Dave and Shelby, I don't even know if you guys know that, because I don't know if we've talked about that.
Yeah.
But we used to do 3-hour shows of 3 hour, 2 90-minute sets of
so stupid.
Yes, Genesis, King Crimson, Jethro Tull,
Rush,
Giant, UK,
La Via Strangiato.
Oh
Rush.
my God.
We did that.
It was 10 bands every night. It was awesome and ridiculous. So I'm like, okay, well, we know we can play, we know we can write, but how can we take this, how can we make a better record this time? So we needed to start with the songs. Even though we had all these instrumental bits, we got to start with the songs first, because that's going to be our hardest part. So yeah, Darren, you're right. And Natalie brought in most of the stuff, and we would sit here, and she'd have the words, and I'm making up chords on the piano, and we're coming up with the melody lines, and then we'd stack up the harmonies. And
but I didn't do it. Because I'm not really a lyricist. I don't write for songs. I do sort of a poetry dump, and then hear the song and extract certain things from the poems that fit, and massively edit down the poem. Whereas a poem that is 25 to 30 words gets distilled down to about 10 because it fits the song better. I don't write for songs. I'll never promote myself as a lyricist. I mean, I'm a recruit on this thing, but the subject matter of certain songs too was so heavy, resonated so heavy in me. Certainly Tempest Horribilis, Third Rail. A lot of these songs are from the point of view of failed relationships and things like that. And until my buddy here, Andrew, there were many failed relationships. So I'm really an expert. And I write, that's kind of the content, certainly of Third Rail. Frighteningly, You is an angry, scary post-relationship thing.
Well, and we, on some of the, for the song You, we're going to, I keep saying the song You, because I know when we talk about it, we go You, and people go, what?
I know. Yeah, I just did it. Good.
With the song You, that could have, we tried to make these songs, have with rock, make them vague. Make the lyrics vague so the listener can make it personal, because the song You could be about abuse.
Yeah.
It can be about a lot of different things based on how you want to interpret that.
Yeah.
And all the songs that I write as a songwriter, I'm a storyteller, and it's when it comes pouring in and I capture the words, and it's very literal, and very hard to turn into something vague. So I don't know what's going to happen with those songs at some point. Darren and Natalie usually like the music, but they don't usually like my lyrics, and we didn't have time to rewrite everything. So
just let me edit it, honey.
Yeah,
they're very good at it.
I think going back to the song You, I think that one, we opened up my lyric book, which Darren, I really don't remember ever writing these down, but
there's a couple of lines that are yours.
Right. So we would take little excerpts of something that I had done, and even Billy Spillane, he added some content for some of our lyrics as well. So yeah, some of this stuff was kind of a amalgamation of a whole bunch of things, and then we did get 2 songs from Matt Dorsey, one of which he had written the lyrics for. So and you could we're still not sure what that one's about.
Just so you know, what? Okay, since you brought that up, when I was at NAMM, I went to Matt's house and hung out
Yeah,
with him. I
that's
played a bunch
right.
of songs on the record. Because he really wanted to hear. He was like, "I've not gotten to hear my songs that you guys are, doing." And so I said, we made this whole story behind the song about the song. Matt has two songs. One is All and one is Blindside. Blindside's obviously about a relationship, but the song All, I was like, dude, what does this song mean? What's it about? And he goes, it doesn't mean anything. I go,
There you
what?
go.
He goes, it's not about anything. I go, what are you talking about? It sounds like this some cosmic thing. Is it about? He goes, I swear to God. He goes, I was just doing a demo. It's just some babbling words I made up when I recorded the demo. It's just what came out. He goes, I have no idea what it means.
And we connected with that very well.
It sounds like
I loved it when I first heard it. I said, we have to do this one. It's
yeah,
really
I loved it too.
proggy.
I heard that demo and I'm like, I'm like completely
Yeah.
it was a great song. I wanted, and actually, I just want Matt looked at me after he heard what we did with All and Blindside, and he looked at me and he goes, I should just give you all of my songs to produce.
Okay.
That was very nice. Yes.
Which was actually very nice. Yeah, he was very complimentary of Dave and Shelby. Like he was complimentary about everything. So that was really nice to hear positive feedback about that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I know we're coming up past the hour,
we're at the
so
65
but we
minute
should
mark.
just get this one in. While
Okay.
the core album is not fully released, are you starting to work on additional new music with Dave and Shelby yet?
Uh-oh.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Everybody's working their own gig right now.
The thing is that this album took 6 years to make, and we are spending 1 year
That's right.
promoting it
With no interruption.
basically.
Yeah.
So this not this year. So not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Any other comments, Dave, Shelby? Anything you'd like to add? No?
No.
They're not committing.
No, but it would be interesting to get together in a room and see what happens.
Yeah, for sure.
That would be really nice.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. Whatever ends up happening, it's going to be interesting, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It was so nice, even though we really didn't play music because we were just doing the video. But it was just lovely to be standing in the same
Well,
place
what was the
during that
last
music
song
video.
that
I
we
was like-
were? Yeah, that was great.
we
was
almost
all-
cried.
stage.
We were like, Dave and
Yeah.
Shelby are here with us. Oh
That was
my
great.
God. I mean, it was so nice. It was very kind of moving and felt like a band. And it was really great. It was really
It did,
great.
and I remember between takes, like me and Dave especially would just do a little bit of jamming together, and it was it was a lot of fun.
Well, I think that
there's
last video we shot at the soundstage, I think Dave decided to turn his amp up. And of course, that starts everybody. Then Shelby did. And then we started the actual play. We were actually kind of playing. It was really kind of cool. But unfortunately, we weren't there to do that. So,
But
that was
the solo I did on that.
Yes.
Was it, yeah. Basically,
I don't think it was there when we were recording it.
It wasn't.
I just improvised something, and
He did.
Sharon had it on. Oh well, you had it on video as well, and I thought it came out fairly well. So basically, when I did the solo, I copied what I'd played, improvised.
Oh, is that how you did that?
Yeah,
That's very cool.
think
He watched the scratch when he was playing for the video thing, and then
That
went
could be
home
a new
and
way
figured
to
out what he
write
played.
music. You make a video first, and then you write the music to it.
well, playing together inspired that. I think.
There you go. See, perfect. There you go.
Okay, well, you know what? It is about almost 8 past the hour. I don't see any new.
We don't want to overstay our welcome.
We don't want to overstay our welcome. We want people to come back and watch these, and we don't want to. And Dave and Shelby are both. Everybody's busy, and so anybody have any other final closing comments?
No.
All right.
No.
Thank you so much for being here on this journey, on this year-long celebration of the release of our new album, and Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you, everybody who jumped
Thanks.
on and asked
Thank
questions.
you so much.
Thank
Thanks a
you.
lot,
Thank you
and
so
we'll
much.
see-
Happy Sunday to all who took time out.
Our
Really
next live
appreciate
stream,
it. It's wonderful.
we have just as a final note, we have date changes. The final March 30th is going to be on Sunday, March 31st. The May 11th is going to be on Sunday, May 12th, and everything else is still the same. So we will see you here live for our next live stream on Sunday, March 31st. All right.
Woohoo!
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.